Hello everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I'm privileged to present today at Sri Lanka's largest IT conference, and this has been organized tremendously well compared to many conferences that we can see in South Asian region as well as globally. So just in case if you are wondering why I am here today, I'm going to explain about digital transformation, the why and how. I'll be basically talking about the digital transformation as a whole, and then why organizations need to transform, and also how businesses need to transform into the digital world, to the digital economy. Basically, in modern day, in many conferences, in many events, that we have seen people are talking about digital transformation. But I think we haven't deep dived enough into the nitty-gritties of the digital transformation in order to understand it from a CXO point of view. So let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Sanjeewa Alwis. I'm currently working as a director for the world's largest education company, Pearson. And I'm very much involved with many Sri Lankan organizations as well as global organizations in helping them to transform into the future, in helping them empowered with the technologies and helping them to face the digital reality that is in front of them. So previously I have been working as a Asia Pacific regional manager for the application engineering space, and then took over the global responsibility. So pretty much I'm very focused on and very interested in looking at how Sri Lanka can transform from digitally to face the challenges that we are up against. So my LinkedIn details are also here, and my email, just in case if you want to have a meaningful conversation around digital transformation and how organization needs to transform, do hit me up in LinkedIn. Probably we can build a better conversation around that. So without further ado, let me go into the meat of my presentation, where I'm going to speak about why change is needed, and are we really ready to accept the changes. So business is ever evolving, and making profits, increasing the bottom line is the purpose of its existence. But we, as organizations, we do many other things to support that. Increase our efficiency, increase our productivity, and increase how we give a better experience to the customer. So when you think about this, everything as a whole in our current businesses, this will disrupted with the digital presence. Now, the organizations and all the businesses are up against one of the great changes that we will ever see in our lifetime. I would consider this time period more compared to something like industrial revolution. Everything that you see current in modern day, everything that we experience are a result of industrial revolution. So this is the next revolution that will shake the entire businesses and the entire industry, for that matter, the entire world. So as organizations, are we channeling our business, are we channeling our investments in the correct directions to achieve the required transformation? Why I'm saying that is, basically, if you think about Nokia, in front of smartphone revolution, the Nokia was not able to cope up with it. Nokia failed. So we have seen this many times. The incumbent businesses are disrupted by the startups that are coming in. So the change has to happen from within. As an organization, we should be able to face that. I'll give you a small example. In Sri Lanka also, a few years back, we have seen the video rental shop every corner of the city. Now we don't see that business. In US and UK, this was kind of a prominent business. But we don't see video CD rental shops now. Amazon, Prime and Netflix has taken over that market. They have disrupted the existing market and then introduced a new set of offerings, new set of products and services in a different way to the customers. So that is the change that we are up against. So many organizations are usually risk averse. They don't want to change, they don't want to adapt the newest technologies that is out there in the market. I think that shouldn't be the case if they want to sustain within the market. Because the startups quickly adapt to the newer technologies, and more risk averse enterprises usually change slowly. They wait for the new technologies to go mainstream. Once those technologies go into mainstream, then they want to adapt that. But you miss the train. So this is something I wanted to highlight here, where how we can embrace the change in this digital world. And then here is some sort of a definition, I would say, for the digital transformation. But before that, I wanted to clearly differentiate two things: digital optimization and digital transformation. Digital optimization is using technology to enhance your existing processes and practices. But digital transformation is looking for new digital revenue, opening up new channels to generate money is something we call digital transformation. For example, if you have a supermarket store and then implementing online POS can be considered as a digital optimization. But if you open a digital store, an e-commerce hub where customers can purchase online, then I would call it as a digital transformation. So the digital transformation is looking for new opportunities to generate money. This is very important thing to focus on, because there are a lot of opportunities, huge opportunities exist within the digital economy if we are ready to take that. I'll give you a small example. If anyone has heard about a company called potatoparcel.com. This company is providing a service where they send a potato to our loved ones in their special locations. Instead of sending a card, you can send a potato. On top of the potato, they write the message which you want to write. It's a very simple thing, right? You just get a potato and write a message on a felt pen on top of it. That's what they do. But this business generates millions of dollars. This was started up by a web app developer called Alex Craig, and then later developed by an e-commerce giant called Ryan Brexit, if I am not mistaken. So these two individuals have generated millions of dollars within a year from this business because they have capitalized the opportunities existing within the digital economy. They have used the social media advertising mechanisms to reach to your customers. So that is something very extraordinary thing. Once Mark Cuban saw this, and then he said, it sounds like a stupid idea to me. But that stupid idea generated a lot of money, millions of dollars, which anyone can do even from Sri Lanka with the availability of the technology. So let me go to next slide, where I wanted to explain two priorities for the CXOs for next 3 to 5 years. Next 3 to 5 years, I think CXOs will need to focus on two things. One is improving customer experience and creating new engagement model leveraging technologies. When I am talking about improving customer experience, that means I'm talking about improving everything as a whole, not just the interaction between the business endpoint and the customer. The entire process, the entirety, how we can use technology to improve it. I'll bring another technology to this session, that is chatbots. Industry giants like Facebook have recently advertised some of the capabilities that we have in chatbots. Chatbots coupled with natural language processing, artificial intelligence, and then some of the data science, we can build automatic chat box where anyone can go and then anyone can get the information from a machine. We can interact with that chatbot as if we are interacting with a human, with artificial intelligence. This is a reality now. This has been implemented by many organizations. And instead of waiting in the phone line for hours to get your card activated in a banking system, or waiting hours to get your balance, you can use the chatbots in your digital banking platform or your mobile application, where you can get immediately the information from the bank. You can activate your cards. Instead of a human, you get to talk to a machine. Banks like NatWest have gone further into this, and they have created digital avatars where they wanted to make us feel that we are interacting with the actual human, with a digital avatar. So the things have changed, and things are changing with the presence of digital technologies. So, and then the next thing, as CXOs, we should develop new business models and discover new digital revenue streams. I was explaining about Netflix, I was explaining about potatoparcel.com. They are exploring new digital revenues which we never thought that would exist 5 years back. So this will be a fundamental hit for all of us. All of CXOs, this will be a fundamental challenge, and it will be a biggest challenging point to the things that they have learned over years. Your years worth of learning will be challenged when you want to look for new digital opportunities in front of the market. So, just to put things into the perspective and to explain how big of a change and the magnitude of the change that we are talking about, I am putting some facts and figures here, more of figures. So, in 2019, IDC predicts that the digital transformation spendings will be 2 trillion all over the world. And then 40% of tech spendings will be on digital transformation. And most importantly, 6 out of 10 CEOs will focus on finding new revenue opportunities in digital economy. They will look for new opportunities that they can gather. So this is a choice between extinction and improvement, extinction and survival. So next, I wanted to add a small theory behind this, but I'm not going to go into the details. In 1997, I believe, Harvard business professor Clayton Christensen defines the rules of innovation. In his book, The Innovator's Dilemma, he has introduced a theory called disruptive innovation. So the disruptive innovation is something I can explain not from this graph, but from an example. Our previous speakers have talked about the Airbnb, which disrupted the market. So if you think about 10-15 years back, the hotel industry was pretty much reserved or limited to the high end of the market. People who are rich and people who are higher middle class people was able to kind of accommodate in hotels. Most of the people who were not able to stay in hotels. But with Airbnb, it revolutionized the market. It opened up even for small scale houses to be rented on that platform. As said, they don't have any rooms, but they have the largest platform which serves the world on hotel accommodation and accommodation. So in that case, what happened? The existing business was targeting at the higher end of the market, the hotel industry, and the new disruptive innovation came in from the bottom, targeting the lowest end of the market, and then grew towards up. That is what it's explained by this theory. What they say is incumbent businesses are disrupted by a small startup because the small startup is very agile. And with the enablement of the technology, you can tomorrow have an idea and then develop the software and then host it in a cloud environment under $50 and start serving your customers. That is the beauty of the technology. Tomorrow, if you have a business idea, day after tomorrow, you can go live. It's very simple. The technologies enable us. When technologies enable us to do that, usually those products and services are low cost, and that will attract the low end of the market, and then that market will start expanding, and ultimately it will capture the bigger market of an incumbent business. So this is where I wanted to explain some of these digital technologies, digital technologies in digital transformation that disrupted, like Clayton Stevenson said. These technologies disrupted. I'm not going to talk about all of these technologies. Cloud platforms, Internet of Things, blockchain, agile DevOps. Throughout 2 days, you must have heard many things about these technologies. So, let me go to some of the disruptive business concepts that is existing out there. I have talked about Netflix, I have talked about Airbnb, and you know what's the story behind Uber. Uber disrupted the market without owning a single taxi driver, without owning a single cab. And it creates a platform where anyone can come in and then, take the advantage of the transport services that is available through the platform. So this is happening everywhere, be it healthcare, be it telecommunication, be it banking. The digital disruption is happening and incumbent businesses are challenged. So if you are a CXO, if you are a senior manager, director, VP in an incumbent larger enterprise, it's time for you to think about how we can adapt as an organization in order to face the challenge. How we can use artificial intelligence to reduce manual processes that we are doing using our papers. When we are talking about manual paperwork, good example is Monzo. Monzo is a digital bank that does not have any branch, that does not have any branch networks. They don't have a physical presence, but they have a virtual presence. They provide services like our Nation Trust CEO said, they use open APIs and also they use different other APIs, their own proprietary APIs, in order to facilitate the digital banking. So in Sri Lanka also, I'm glad like companies like NTB's, driving these things in Sri Lanka. In UK, this was a big thing that they do not use any paperwork. They don't have any paperwork. They don't have checks. It is revolutionized thinking and a different thinking than what we used to do. But in next 3 to 5 years, these things will be a reality. So I have finally a small use case of a digital transformation. There's another bank called Connex Credit Union that is from Connecticut. This bank hired a new CIO from an aircraft industry, and that CIO was tasked to transform the bank. And he has taken 3 steps, which is fascinating to study. First, he has looked at all the core processing activities that is there in the bank, and he has helped to use technology to automate as much as possible, to reduce the human intervention. Human should be used to take decision, but with the current trends that we have, we use human to do repetitive tasks. We don't want humans to do repetitive tasks. We are creative people. We are creative animal. We need to take decisions. We need to do creative work instead of repetitive work. But we use most of our staff in our organization to do repetitive things over and over again. But with robotic process automation technologies, these things has to be automated. And then next, he used the infrastructure. So the banking industry faces the infrastructure problem. They cannot go for the public cloud due to different regulations. So he has created a hyper-converged infrastructure in the local data centers that he owns that enabled him to automatically spin up servers when the demand goes high. During the high peak time business hours, automatically the servers getting spin up and the load is handling within the internal private cloud. We can do that using technologies like Kubernetes, DCOS type of technologies that if you are implementing within our data centers. And then next, he has focused on analytics and innovation. He has used data to understand the customer behavior and then use it to create meaningful customer service. So I think with this one, I believe I was able to give you some pointers towards thinking digital. As senior leaders, it is really important for us to contribute and can transform our organizations in a meaningful way. So there are many organizations in Sri Lanka which has involved in providing technology support for these matters. For example, Ovinway is one company where it partners with this today's event as well. They provide trainings and all that. So it is very much needed as CXOs. From the top to bottom, we all need to transform, we all need to learn technology, we all need to think differently, and we all need to be ready to embrace the challenge and embrace the huge disruption that is in front of us, but in a productive and successful way. So I'm going to wind up my session today with that. And this was a really great event where most of the industry leaders will get together, and I wanted to thank the CSSL for doing this. It was a much needed thing for our industry to get people together and to share the knowledge and change the entire organization and change the entire country as a whole. So this is something we all need to support. We all need to rally around with CSSL in future as well in order to get this through. So I think I was able to add some value into your life, and I wanted to wind up my session. Thank you very much. Hope to meet you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeewa. Yeah.